Okay, welcome back into American Agenda. I have a thought today. You want to know why the left-wing media and Democrats are talking about Joe Biden and his mental decline so much now? It's damage control. Liberal media is trying to save face and act like they're something more than just a mouthpiece for the left-wing policy. And Democrats, they're trying to save face with voters. Look, I think it's pretty simple. Joe Biden was having major mental decline while in office. Everybody knew it, whether you were on the right or the left. But Democrats and liberal media thought maybe Biden that he could still win until the debate against Trump, and then his mental state couldn't be hidden anymore. After that, it was obvious to the world he would lose in a landslide to President Trump, hence why Kamala Harris and Tim Walz, they were then brought into the picture. Moving forward, though, it's about damage control and about trust. How can you possibly trust Democrats moving forward and left-wing media to accurately report anything honestly? Jake Tapper from CNN, Axios' Alex Thompson, they're coming out with a new book. It's going to be out in 5 days about Joe Biden's decline. Apparently, it's going to unveil the findings after interviewing more than 200 people with access to Biden and his administration. They're uncovering pretty much what we all knew. There was something egregiously wrong with Joe Biden. We talked about it extensively here. Some of the excerpts are going to include this, though. Biden's aides privately discussed whether they would have put him in a wheelchair for a second term, that Biden didn't recognize movie star George Clooney at a June 2024 fundraiser. Also more, he seemed disoriented and out of it with his mouth agape. They also write that White House aides who once regularly had access to Biden would go months without seeing him at some meetings. Others would notice that Biden would occasionally be mumbling and not making much sense at all. Again, I don't think any of this is shocking to us. I figured as much, didn't you? And I'm not talking about this to further degrade Joe Biden either, but rather bring up that point. Where was reporting like this while he was in office and it was obvious? Again, we talked about it here extensively. And also, where were the Democrats who knew this was going on? Tapper and Thompson, they also went on to write this. Some members of former President Joe Biden's cabinet did not believe that he could be relied upon to perform at 2 a.m. during an emergency by the final year of his presidency. I mean, this is a pretty big problem. So now some new talking points have come down from whoever is running the DNC. It's this: when Democrats are finally asked about this by left-wing media who's trying to save face and act like they weren't complicit, the answer now is to deflect.
We're looking forward. We have the largest Medicaid cut in history facing us. We are focused on the future and doing right for the American people, plain and simple.
Did he say that to you?
We're looking forward.
Look, all this stuff about his health or, commentary that people are making in books, frankly, that's very backward looking.
We're not looking backward, we're looking forward at this particular moment in time.
Okay, now I've also heard some Democrats on TV saying, what cover up? We didn't cover anything up for him to stay in power. We didn't know. Well, I think that might be a bigger issue, that they could be so blind. I'd rather have them do a cover up than them being that naive and that stupid, wouldn't you? But that actually might be the case. Senator Chris Murphy from Connecticut told Politico this on Biden's decline. There's no doubt about it. The debate is whether it was enough that it compromised his ability to act as chief executive. Really? You're still debating if it's okay for the president of the United States to have mental decline? I think the answer to that is zero, none. If the president has mental decline of any kind, that person shouldn't be president. That's it. Like I said, it might actually be stupidity. However, there is one Democrat saying that they should just be honest with the American people. How about this, everybody? That's Congressman Ro Khanna from California. He put this out on X yesterday. To rebuild trust, Democrats must be honest in light of the facts that have come out. Joe Biden should have not run for re-election, and we should have had an open primary. I think, yeah, that would be a start. Being honest with the American people. It does work. The perfect example of that is President Trump. He campaigned on policy, what he was going to do to fix it. Guess what? Now he's president again. There's an old saying, the truth will set you free. Maybe it's time for Democrats to take a chance on that, but I doubt they will.